Movies hold the power to be life-changing experiences, for better or for worse. Whether you're exploring the world of critically acclaimed films or simply enjoying movies that critics didn't love, everyone can concur that movies are an excellent way to escape from life and have fun. However, when it comes to movies that critics panned, what did they consider the worst of the year? I present the 10 worst movies of 2024. In my opinion, let's get started. 10. Argylle. An espionage author, who enjoys her quiet time, finds her life turned upside down when one of her stories mirrors an actual covert operation. It's a challenging read and fails to live up to its potential. The plot, excessive CGI, and lack of depth make it a long, dumb, CGI-riddled mess and too much in terms of its over-the-top style. 9. Rebel Moon Part 2: The Scargiver. Release date April 19. Zack Snyder's new science fiction film is a follow-up to his previous movie. It tells a story about a group of underdogs who are fighting against an unstoppable force in order to regain their freedom. However, the film is receiving negative reviews. Critics have described it as incredibly boring, filled with slow-motion sequences, and have used phrases like slow-mo sci-fi slog, flat notes, meaningless exposition, uninvolving, generic, and derivative. They also note that there is too much repetition of familiar sci-fi tropes. If you enjoyed the first movie, you could give it a watch, but otherwise, it might not be worth it. 8. The Garfield Movie. The movie released on May 24. It features Chris Pratt as the voice of Garfield, a cat who hates Mondays. In this film, Garfield meets his father and is dragged into a high-stakes heist. The movie is based on a beloved comic strip, but it's primarily targeted at an audience that may not be familiar with the source material. The plot is not very engaging and can be complicated. However, many people appreciated the voice performances by Chris Pratt, Samuel L. Jackson, and others. The humor is entertaining, especially for younger audiences. The CGI is good, but the plot is predictable and poorly written. If you're looking for a lighthearted movie with a few laughs and don't want to dwell too much on the story, then this movie might be for you. 7. Harold and the Purple Crayon. The release date is August 2nd. The story is based on the book with the same name, where Harold discovers that anything he draws with his purple crayon can come to life. However, I found the adaptation to be too long and boring, lacking emotional depth and a consistent tone. The script seemed convoluted, the pacing could have been faster, and the characters needed more development. Overall, I didn't find it very engaging and would not recommend it. The original book, however, might be worth checking out. 6. The Crow. Release date August 23. The Crow is a reimagining of James O'Barr's graphic novel of the same name. It follows a man who is killed and comes back from the dead to seek revenge. The movie is overly melodramatic, tries very hard to be a rated R movie, and it feels like a rushed product. The revenge plot is predictable and formulaic, and the protagonist lacks tension, faux sentimentality, and a reworked script, weighed down by Brandon Lee's memory, contribute to its shortcomings. Can be watched for cinematography. 5. Atlas. Release date May 24. A movie about Jennifer Lopez as Atlas Shepard, who has a strong dislike for artificial intelligence. In the movie, she is tasked with retrieving a robot, but must rely on the AI of the robot to accomplish her mission. The movie can be described as a typical modern sci-fi film. It is lengthy and lacks interest. I personally did not enjoy this movie. I found it to be underwhelming, with a lack of creativity, poorly developed characters, and a predictable plot. When compared to other Netflix original films, it falls into the mid-tier category without any standout elements. The movie features cheap and dark visual effects, especially in the action sequences, which are not well done. 4. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Release date March 26. Taking beloved characters from the stories set in the 100-Acre Wood, Christopher Robin features Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, and Owl. The group visits Robin's hometown, but the plot takes an unexpected turn as they end up causing harm to others. In summary, most critics have panned the movie, and personally, I didn't enjoy the first one either. It wasn't worth it for me, and the sequel didn't impress me either. In comparison to other horror films in the same genre, it didn't resonate with me at all. Before talking about the 3, I would appreciate it if you could like the video if you agree with me and subscribe. Also, comment down your top 3 worst films of the year. 3. Borderlands. Borderlands is based on the popular video game series of the same name. the story follows a bounty hunter who teams up with a mercenary, a demolitionist, a protector, a scientist, and the fan-favorite robot, Claptrap, on a mission to battle an alien species. Overall, the film falls short in telling its story effectively due to its excessive length. Many fans of the game series have voiced their disappointment and frustration with the movie's lack of faithfulness to the source material, subpar storytelling, and weak character development. Major reasons for its shortcomings are as follows. 1. The movie tries to include too much in a short runtime, resulting in a disjointed and confusing narrative. 2. Beloved characters are misused, with some feeling that they were poorly written or miscast. 3. The film fails to capture the humor and tone of the games, instead opting for a generic action comedy approach. 4. There's a lack of attention to detail and accuracy in adapting the game's world and lore. Die-hard fans of the game series may be disappointed by the film's deviations from the source material. However, approaching it as a separate entity may make it an entertaining, albeit flawed, action movie. If you're curious, give it a try. At number 2 we have Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. The movie Megamind 2 was released on March 1, 2024. It is the second installment of the Megamind film series and a sequel to Megamind, 2010. It also serves as the pilot for the television series, Megamind Rules, which premiered the same day. Unfortunately, the sequel was widely criticized for its bad jokes, poor music, weak script, subpar animation, and voice acting. Many viewed it as a cash grab lacking the charm and wit of the original Megamind, 2010. The movie received overwhelmingly negative reviews and has an IMDb rating of 2.4/10. It's not recommended to watch this movie as it's not worth it at all. Number 1, Madam Web. Release date, February 14th. The movie is set in Sony's live-action Spider-Man adjacent universe. It follows a NYC paramedic who gains supernatural abilities and befriends others with superpowers. Together, they must fight a supervillain. Unfortunately, the film is widely criticized. It is described as inept, shockingly bad, and laughably designed and implemented. Critics note poor craftsmanship, editing, and acting. Dakota Johnson's performance is particularly criticized. The script is panned for being basic and predictable, with unengaging characters and a lack of depth. The villain, Ezekiel Sims, is considered bland and poorly developed. The direction is also criticized for being nonsensical, with awkward camera movements and shot choices. While the movie's themes of found family dynamics are somewhat salvaged, overall, it is considered a disappointment. Some scenes even reuse clips from previous films. Additionally, the actors are not given their superhero suits until the very end of the movie. Ultimately, it is suggested to watch the movie only if Sony somehow connects it with its Spideyverse. Otherwise, it is not recommended, unless you are a fan of Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney.